Okay, production basic settings, routings, control data, maintain number range intervals. Explore.
सर जी वो एक रिक्वेस्ट थी वैसे।
नहीं।
Routing, control data, define number ranges. This is easy. Okay. Intervals, we already have intervals over here. Okay. Define number range for, okay, number ranges, main task list, maintain task list types for get and set. Get and set parameters. Now, what are these? Now, routings basically define how, now what is our work area? Okay. Our work area will be routing. Okay. Over here, the number ranges, of course, these are given over here. And these routings can be changed when the routing is made. Now, what is routing? It shows the ingredients and how the ingredients are processed to make one car. Bills of material is the list of materials and routing is the combination of all plus the ingredients. Okay. Now, next task list. Define field selection. Control data. Define field selection. Define field selection. Task list overview. Okay. Overview screen, standard network, PP task list. Okay, let's see this. Over here, we can make some fields optional or hidden. I'm actually looking for, sales order. Short term. No, we cannot find it, but that is one of the um, requirements. Anyways, we have already understood the concept behind that. Material, plant AA42. Okay. MM60 AA42 because this is our plant by default. Control Y, Control C, CA01. Change number, key date 01.01/2024. Routings. Okay. Over here, you want to see line hierarchy, usage, overall status. These are mandatory with a star. Okay. Now, usage will be for production, overall status. Okay. For order created, overall status will be for order. Planning work center will do this later on. Okay. Operations. Okay. Work center we will mention over here. And what else do we have? We'll see this later, but this is where you actually create your routing. Okay. Now routing has been created with the number range. We have already seen the number range. Okay. Header details. We have already given the header details. And PP task list. But anyways, I mean, the presentation is already there. I'll start the next presentation, which is lecture, the next lecture. Okay. Okay, now what we have actually seen in all of our SAP has been quite comprehensive, and we've already seen in production what we have seen. We have seen master data. Okay, we have seen master data for material, and in material we have actually created material master for raw materials, semi-finished goods, and finished goods. Then we actually went ahead for bills of materials and we created bills of materials, but we'll create another bills of materials as well. We also saw work centers and work centers. In that, we also saw capacity planning. Okay. And we'll be going in deep into that, but we have already covered uh, the overview of all of these, including the routings as well. The next thing is that standard routing. Now, what is standard routing? This is for discrete manufacturing, rate routing. This is for repetitive manufacturing. Now, what is discrete manufacturing? Now, discrete basically is, for example, you're creating cars. Now, discrete basically is that you can uh, separate the components of a car one by one, and then you can reuse and recycle and reconnect the components, right? But in chemical industry, you cannot separate the chemicals from the chemical, right? If there are two to three chemicals. So that is not discrete. Repetitive manufacturing is, for example, is like beverages. You are creating beverages every month without any customer order. Okay, so that is repetitive manufacturing. Okay. Now, sales operation planning, this is important because this actually creates um, requirements for production. Okay. And this basically, let's say that we want to create an estimate for the next year and we want to plan the sales for the next year, and our estimate is under 10 crores for next 12 months for the next year. Okay. So a sales operation planning can be created for individual products or for product groups. For example, we are selling cars and our estimate forecast and plan is 110 crores. So how many units do we have to sell to achieve 110 crores? For example, we are selling cars like Maruti, Wagoner, okay, and other cars. How will we plan? So this is SOP that will help us in creating plan values and quantities for the next year using the sales values from the previous year. Okay. Uh, the the data flow or the availability of data of sales or estimates actually comes from two sources: profitability analysis, which is COPA from costing, and historical information system or legacy information system, which is uh, other legacy systems that is producing production or sales data every year. Then the sales plan is created, which can be manual or automated, that gets upgraded to production plan. And then it is then broken down into disaggregation. We'll see what is disaggregation, and then comes demand management. Okay. Next is planning levels. There are various kinds of planning levels in sales operation planning. For example, when it is coming from legacy system or COPA from SAP, it is at a higher level where we see the sales of one region, for example, North America. And then we see what product group, what motorcycle, a car was being sold and how many were sold. And out of that product group, which car was being sold the most and how. And then when SOP sales operation planning is made, then the master plan is basically created and adjusted, which then gets promoted to or upgraded to or molecularized to MRP, where of course you have to ascertain which assembly will make which part and which component will actually come together to make product one and product two. Okay. System integration, basically. Now, how does the planning go ahead? It starts from sales and distribution. The sales order from 97 is taken up to create estimates for order quantities for 98, which then goes and gets upgraded to sales operation planning, and sales operation planning gets into disaggregation. Now, what is disaggregation? Disaggregation is again molecularized requirements. For example, if you're creating or producing motorcycles, then how many parts and exhausts and seats and lights will be needed, and at what with what appropriation will be needed. That is disaggregation. Demand, then that becomes and develops into demand management, and that is actually used. Okay. Hierarchies, of course, there is two different approaches and many other approaches as well. There is a product group and flexible planning hierarchy. In SAP, we use product group where we have groups for soaps and detergents, and this is going for the market of USA. And then we actually go into hierarchies or disaggregation. Okay, and we actually break down into appropriated amounts and order quantities. Now, consistent planning is basically you at a higher level have sales organization, and that actually produces sales amounts for the previous year. And under those sales organizations, we have distribution channels and then divisions which are recording sales. The division is basically, it can be an area or a product distribution channel, can be North America and South America. Okay. And under that, there will be a division for detergents, for soaps, for shampoos, for cars, for motorcycles. These are divisions. So every division will have levels, aggregation levels, and quantities that are being sold. So you will actually have order quantities that will be stored for production planning, order quantity that is right now visible and available, and the ones that you want to forecast. Level by level planning is basically you actually plan um, on a higher organizational unit, and then at the distribution level and at the division level. The visible is one that is being used for production, and the one that is stored, which is available for consumption or for selling. For example, at the total top is 240, but at distribution channel is North America, South America. We have 100 units and 200 units. Division is cars and motorcycles. We have 100 motorcycles here and 100 cars over here. Okay, for the same distribution channel. Okay, 100, 200, 100, and 100, which is also stored and visible. Okay. So a product grouping, basically, it helps you to maintain planning and develop planning for your material groups or finished products that are of the same type. For example, the bicycle over here is a touring bike. One is a now this is your division. This is also division. Now this division has subdivisions: women's, men's, children's, and standard bicycle. One is mountain and one is touring bike. Okay. Now product grouping structure over here, we have a product group. For example, we have a product. For example, we have material one, material two, and we will need a proportionate of all these to make a product which is a part of that product group. Now, product group, for example, is motorcycles. Now, motorcycles will be CD70 and 125. That will become one part of the product group. So we will need lights, exhaust, wheels, those materials, how much of these will be needed, and we will apportion it. That is a proportional factor. Aggregation is basically that a material is required, then we actually arrive at the aggregate average. We average it out and see how much of an average product will be needed. Unit conversion, this is very easy in kgs, in pieces. This is unit conversion. Multiple assignments can also happen that a material, for example, the bulb in a motorcycle is common for 1 to 5 and CD70. It can be used for two product groups. Planning, okay. Now over here, we have some fields like stock levels, target stock level, day supply, target day supply. This is easy, a little technical, but if you just pay attention, you will just understand. Now this is basically sales for the last years, month 12, month 1, month 2, month 3, and so on. We can also have it weekly. And the production is happening to actually service the quantity requirements for sales. Okay. For that, we need stock levels. Then we must have target stock level and days supply for that stock level. For example, now this is the production plan. How do we generate that? Now, for example, synchronous to sales. Sales is 50, production is 50. It's like beverages. Okay. 70, week 29 of 94. 70 and 70 sold, 70 produced, and it goes the same. That's synchronous. Now, target stock level is that uh, your sales forecast will be 50, but you actually create 60. So you have a reserve stock level, target stock level of 10. Okay. Now, then comes in, you sold 50, but in the next month you produced, you sold 70. So 10 is consumed over here. Okay. So to restore this 10, you will create 60 plus 10. So this is 70. Okay. Then again, in month 8, 220 is sold, 250 is production. Remaining should be 30, but plus 10. Okay. It becomes 40. Okay. Month 9, 250 and 250. You actually produced 250, but you had a reserve of 40. So you have to make sense of this. Target 50, 80. You will have 30 as target days supply. And then you produced 40, but you had 30 and you sold 70. So the average, it was average out. This is how you actually created. So this is how you actually make logic of target supplies. Okay, now over here, these are basically how you actually plan out your quantities, and you also calculate the deviations based on sales plus event, which actually corrects your sales. So any special event can happen, or there was an event for example, Thanksgiving or New Year, that will actually increase the demand. Okay. Now, disaggregation is basically splitting of plan into individual numbers. You have a product group for this motorcycle, okay, and you have product group for the same, But the difference over here is again in appropriation and in percentages over here. Okay, so disaggregation basis, basically we are breaking it down into aggregate sum and into proportions. Okay, so it's basically up to your understanding how you want to actually make proportions of it. For example, over here, sales is 1, production is 1, stock is 100, 1, and 1. So we have stock levels of 200 already. Sales is 970, production is 1. Okay, and then we have a difference of 30 because 970 were sold, 30 was left back. Okay, then in next month, we actually sold 1200. Okay, but we actually created 1300. So 1300 is 90. 90 plus 30 is 120. So that's how you actually make a sum of values and proportions. Okay. And rough cut planning is basically you actually assess what work centers or components are available for uh, with the capacity to produce, and based on that you actually plan it out over weeks and months for products and for raw materials and work centers. And this is where the individual requirements disaggregation gets developed into demand management, after which individual requirements are generated from the system and fed into the systems. So basically, sales order is processed. It creates demand management. That is the quantities that we have discussed. And it creates independent requirements that gets developed into MRP. And then from there, it goes and auto creates plan orders. Plan order then converts it into either production order or purchase requisition if the stock is low. So, shall we just see how much time we have? We'll create one. MM01 will create 3 products. Okay. We'll create 3 products, which is Alto M800 and Wagon R. Okay. And we will all We'll see all of this, and this will be your homework. Okay, I will share this with the share this presentation with you. You just create MM01. I've given all the steps. Okay, and then we'll create product groups. Also maintain the product groups, and then we'll see how you actually do it.